Hello everyone. Welcome back to English R&L. I'm Emily, and today I'm going to share something very close to my daily routine. The words that I personally use every single day to boost my English vocabulary. These words are not complicated or difficult, but they are powerful. They are the kind of words that can easily fit into your daily conversations no matter where you are. And they will help you sound more natural and more fluent. Now, let me explain why I use these words every day. Vocabulary is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. If you only learn a word once and never use it again, it disappears from your mind. But if you use a word every day, it becomes part of you. It becomes natural, and you don't even have to think about it when you speak. That is why I choose certain words and repeat them in my conversations, in my writing, and even when I'm thinking to myself in English. For example, one word I love using every day is actually. It's such a simple word, but it makes my sentences sound smoother and more real. If someone asks me, "Do you like tea?" I can say, "Yes, I do." But if I say, "Yes, I actually do," it feels warmer, more natural. It shows a little bit of surprise or a little bit of extra feeling. That is why I practice it every day. Let's practice together. Imagine you are with a friend and they ask you, "Do you enjoy learning English?" You can answer with me, "Yes, I actually enjoy it a lot." Another situation, someone says, "Do you live in a busy city?" You reply, "Yes, I actually live in a very busy place." Notice how this one small word adds flavor to the answer. Another word I use every day is maybe. It's such a practical word because life is not always certain. Sometimes you don't want to say yes or no. Maybe is the perfect word for that. For example, if a friend asks, "Are you free tomorrow?" and you're not sure yet, you can say, "Maybe, I'll let you know." It keeps the conversation soft and polite. Practice with me. Maybe, I will go for a walk later. Another, maybe we can meet this weekend. Every time you say maybe, you're practicing how to be natural in English without sounding too strict or too formal. Another word I use daily is because it's a connecting word. But it's so powerful, it allows you to explain your thoughts, your reasons, your feelings. Without it, your sentences feel empty. For example, if someone says, "Why are you learning English?" and you only reply, "I want to," that feels unfinished. But if you say, "I'm learning English because I want to travel and meet new people," your answer feels full, clear, and confident. Let's practice. I'm practicing English because I want to improve my career. Another, I'm reading this book because I enjoy stories in English. Using because forces you to make longer sentences, and this naturally grows your fluency. Another favorite word I use is really. This little word is so useful in daily life. It shows emotion, and it makes your sentences stronger. For example, "I'm happy" is fine, but "I'm really happy" feels more alive. "The food was good" is okay, but "the food was really good" sounds much more enthusiastic. Practice with me now. I'm really excited to learn new words today. Another one, this exercise is really helpful for me. Now, let's talk about the word sure. I use it every single day. If someone asks you, "Can you help me?" you can simply say, "Sure." It's short, it's friendly, and it's natural. It makes you sound confident and easygoing. Practice with me. Someone says, "Can you open the window?" You answer, "Sure, no problem." Another one, "Can you tell me the time?" And you reply, "Sure. It's 5 o'clock." Using sure makes your English feel natural in everyday life situations. Another word that I use constantly is really combined with sure. For example, if someone says, "Do you like this movie?" You can say, "Yes, I'm really sure it's great." This shows both confidence and emotion at the same time. Next, let's practice with sometimes. This is a word I love because it describes real life. Not everything happens always, and not everything never happens. Sometimes is the balance in between. For example, sometimes I feel tired after work. Sometimes I study English at night. It makes your English sound realistic and honest. Practice with me. Sometimes I listen to English music. Another, sometimes I forget new words. When you practice with this word, you train your brain to talk about real situations, not just black and white answers. Another essential word I use is probably. It's polite, and it helps you express possibility. If someone asks, "Will you come to the party?" You can say, "Probably yes," or "I'll probably be there." It makes you sound natural, not too direct, not too uncertain, just balanced. Practice now. I'll probably go shopping later. Another, it will probably rain today. Using probably gives your sentences a softer, more realistic tone. Let me share another word I love, already. This word shows that something happened before now. For example, I already finished my homework, or I already watched that movie. It gives a sense of time and makes your sentence sound complete. Practice together. I already learned this word. Another, I already ate lunch. Notice how this word makes your sentences stronger by adding time, information. And finally, for this section, I want to share the word really one more time, but in a different way. Sometimes I use it not to show emotion, but to confirm something. If someone says, "I started a new job," you can reply, "Really?" It shows interest, curiosity, and it keeps the conversation going. Practice this with me. Imagine a friend says, "I bought a new phone." You reply, "Really? That's nice." Another, "I traveled last week." You say, "Really? Where did you go?" This simple word keeps the conversation alive and natural. So you see, just by practicing and using words like actually, maybe, because, really, sure, sometimes, probably, already, and really in different ways, you can grow your vocabulary naturally every day. The secret is not to memorize long lists of difficult words, but to take small, useful words and repeat them in your daily conversations until they feel natural to you. Now, let's move on to another set of words that I use every day, and I recommend that you use them too. These are the kind of words that make your sentences flow naturally and help you connect your thoughts in a smooth way. One of my favorite structures is actually combined with I think. For example, actually, I think this is a good idea. This structure is so natural in conversation. People use it all the time when they want to share their opinion in a polite and thoughtful way. Let's practice together. Actually, I think this lesson is useful. Another, actually, I think English is easier when I practice every day. Notice how the combination feels like real conversation, not too weak, just natural. Another very common phrase that I use daily is maybe later. Life is busy, and sometimes you cannot say yes immediately. Instead of just saying no, which can feel too direct, you can say, maybe, later. For example, if someone says, "Do you want to go out now?" you can reply, maybe, later. I need to finish my work first. It keeps the conversation friendly and open. Practice with me. Maybe later, I'll call you. Another, maybe later we can watch a movie. This little phrase is perfect for daily life situations, and I use it all the time. The next phrase I use often is by the way. This is not just a word, but a phrase that works like magic in conversations. It helps you change the topic smoothly or add extra information. For example, you might be talking about school and then you remember something, so you say, "By the way, did you finish your homework?" It feels natural and connects ideas without breaking the conversation. Let's practice. By the way, I wanted to ask you something. Another, by the way, have you seen my keys? You see how easy it is to use and how it makes conversations flow. Another daily use word is really, especially when combined with questions. For example, if someone says, "I got a new job," you can respond with, "Really? That's amazing." It's short, but it shows interest and makes the other person feel heard. This is something I always use in my conversations because it makes me sound more friendly and engaged. Practice with me. Imagine someone says, "I'm going on vacation." You reply, "Really? Where are you going?" Another one. Someone says, "I started learning French." You say, "Really? That's cool." These little responses are powerful in building connection with people. Another word that I find myself using daily is so, not just as a connector, but as an emphasis. For example, "I'm so happy to see you. This food is so delicious. The movie was so interesting." The word "so" makes your feelings stronger and more colorful. Practice with me. "I'm so excited to learn English today." Another one. "This exercise is so helpful." Using "so" in this way will make your English sound alive and full of emotion. Now, let's talk about really good versus so good. These are two small expressions I use daily, and they both add power to your English. For example, "The weather is really good today," or "The weather is so good today." Both sound natural, but they give a slightly different flavor. Let's practice both. "This lesson is really good." Now, "This lesson is so good." Notice how they feel in your mouth, how natural they are when spoken out loud. Another word I use often is "of course." It's polite, friendly, and shows confidence. If someone asks, "Can you help me?" you can reply, "Of course." If someone says, "Can you explain this to me?" you can say, "Of course, I'd be happy to." It feels supportive and welcoming. Practice now. "Of course, I will help you." Another one. "Of course, I enjoy learning new words." You can use this every day in so many situations. Now, let's explore the word well. This is such a flexible word, and I use it daily. At the beginning of a sentence, it gives you time to think. For example, if someone asks, "What do you want to eat?" you can start by saying, "Well, maybe I want pizza." Or, "Well, I'm not sure yet." It buys you time and makes you sound natural. Practice with me. "Well, I think I need more practice." Another, "Well, maybe I'll do it tomorrow." You'll notice how it softens your sentences and makes you sound more relaxed. Another everyday phrase is "you know." People use it to make conversation feel lighter and more connected. For example, "It's really hot today, you know." Or, "Learning English takes time, you know." It's like adding a friendly touch to your words. Practice this. "It's not easy, you know." Another, "This is fun, you know." It creates a more natural rhythm in your speaking. Now, let's practice with "I guess." This is a word I use to show uncertainty in a soft way. For example, "I guess I'll go to the park later." Or, "I guess he is not coming." It's polite and shows you're not 100% sure, but you're making a guess. Practice together. "I guess I need more vocabulary practice." Another, "I guess we'll see what happens." Using this daily will give you more comfort in conversations. when you don't want to sound too direct. Another phrase I use is kind of. This helps you show something that is not exact. For example, I'm kind of tired, or this book is kind of interesting. It softens your statement and makes it sound casual. Practice now. I'm kind of busy today. Another, I'm kind of hungry. You'll see how natural it feels when you say it. And finally, let's look at the phrase a little bit. I use this every day when I want to make something sound smaller or lighter. For example, I'm a little bit tired. Or, I was a little bit late. It's polite and soft, and it's very common in real English conversations. Practice with me. I'm a little bit nervous now. Another, I'm a little bit excited. Notice how it makes your sentences sound natural and less strong. So now we have added more daily use, words and phrases like actually, I think, maybe, later. By the way, really in questions, so, really good, so good. Of course, well, you know, I guess, kind of, and a little bit. When you practice them every day, you will see a big difference in your fluency and in the way your English flows. Another group of words I use every single day are the ones that help me express time and order. These words are small but very important because they allow me to explain my day, tell a story, or describe events clearly. One of the first words I always use is then. This word helps connect actions in a sequence. For example, I woke up, then I had breakfast, then I went to work. It makes my sentences flow and helps the listener follow my story. Let's practice with then. I'll study English, then. I'll watch a movie. Another, I'll call my friend, then I'll go to sleep. You see how simple this is, but how useful it becomes in daily life. Another daily word is next. This is another way to connect actions in time. For example, I went shopping, and next I cooked dinner. It helps organize your thoughts clearly. Practice now. I'll finish my homework. Next, I'll play a game. Another, I'll read this article. Next, I'll write a summary. Using next helps you explain your day step by step in English. Another common word I use all the time is before. It's so simple but very useful. For example, I brushed my teeth before I went to bed. Or, I called my mom before I started cooking. It gives structure to your story and shows order. Let's practice. I washed my hands before eating. Another, I stretched before exercising. Practicing with before makes your speaking clearer because you can explain what happened first. Now the opposite word is after. I use this every day when I want to explain something that happened later. For example, after lunch, I went for a walk. Or, I cleaned the kitchen after cooking. It's very natural in daily conversation. Practice with me after. School, I met my friend. Another, I'll take a shower after the gym. Simple but powerful. Another word I use is usually. This is one of my favorite daily words because it describes habits. For example, I usually wake up early. Or, I usually drink coffee in the morning. It tells people about your routine. Practice this now. I usually practice English at night. Another, I usually take the bus to work. This is perfect for describing your normal daily activities. Along with usually, I also use always. For example, I always check my phone in the morning. Or, I always brush my teeth before bed. It shows something that happens 100% of the time. Practice with me. I always try to learn new English words. Another, I always listen to music when I cook. Now, let's balance it with never. This is the opposite of always, and I use it when something does not happen at all. For example, I never smoke or I never drink soda. It's strong, but it's very useful in daily conversations. Practice now. Say, I never forget to practice English. Another, I never skip breakfast. This helps you practice both grammar and natural rhythm in English. Another favorite daily use word is sometimes. I know we practiced it earlier, but I want to return to it because I use it constantly in different ways. For example, sometimes I cook, sometimes I eat out, or sometimes I feel lazy, sometimes I feel active. It gives balance and makes your sentences sound realistic. Let's practice together. Sometimes I study in the morning. Sometimes I study at night. Another, sometimes I forget words. Sometimes I remember them easily. This is exactly how real conversations sound. Another phrase I love using is at the same time. For example, I was listening to music and reading at the same time. Or, I was working and drinking coffee at the same time. It shows actions happening together. Practice this. I was watching TV and eating at the same time. Another, I can laugh and learn at the same time. Using this phrase daily helps you explain multitasking naturally. Now, let's talk about right now. This phrase is something I use every day when I want to emphasize the present moment. For example, I'm busy right now, or I'm studying English right now. It's powerful because it brings attention to the current action. Practice with me. I'm listening right now. Another, I'm learning English right now. You can feel how strong and focused this phrase is. Another word that I use often is already, especially with time. For example, I already finished my homework, or I already cleaned my room. We practiced it earlier, but I want to show you how often it comes up in daily speech. Practice now. I already ate dinner. Another, I already watched that show. The more you practice it, the more natural it feels. Now, let's practice with yet. This is another common daily word when asking or answering questions. For example, have you finished yet? Or, I haven't done it yet. It's short, simple, and very common. Practice with me. I haven't studied yet. Another, I haven't eaten yet. Try asking, have you started yet? This is exactly how native speakers use it daily. Another phrase I use often is for a while. For example, I've been waiting for a while, or I stayed there for a while. It's useful when you want to show a short or medium period of time. Practice this. I studied for a while. Another, I rested for a while. This helps you sound more natural when talking about time. Finally, for this section, let's practice in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. These are very common phrases that I use daily because they help me describe my day clearly. For example, I go jogging in the morning, or I read books in the evening. Practice now. I drink coffee in the morning. Another, I relax in the evening. These are such simple, useful phrases that I recommend you practice them every day. So, in this part, we practiced words and phrases that describe time and order, then, next, before, after, usually, always, never, sometimes, at the same time, right now, already, yet, for a while, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. These are not just vocabulary items. They are the foundation of everyday English conversations. Now, let's look at another group of words that I use every day. These are words that help me express my feelings and emotions, because daily life is full of feelings. And if we can describe them well in English, our conversations become richer and more real. One of my favorite words is happy. It's simple, but I use it every single day. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy it's Friday. I'm happy because I learned something new. Happiness can be something small or big, and the word happy is always useful. Practice with me now. I'm happy to be here. Another, I'm happy to learn new English words. The more you repeat it, the more natural it feels. Another word I use all the time is excited. This is stronger than happy. It shows that you are full of energy and looking forward to something. For example, I'm excited about my trip. Or, I'm excited to start this new lesson. Let's practice together. I'm excited to learn English today. Another, I'm excited to practice speaking. Notice how this word brings energy to your voice. Now, let's balance this with the word tired. I use this almost daily because it's true. After work, after studying, after a long day, I say, I'm tired. It's natural and honest. Practice with me. I'm tired after school. Another, I feel tired in the evening. Using this word helps you talk about your real life. Now, let's use interested. This is the opposite of bored. For example, I'm interested in learning English. Or, I'm interested in cooking. It's useful for hobbies, studies, and conversations. Practice with me. I'm interested in books. Another, I'm interested in traveling. When you use this word often, you can share your passions easily. Another common daily word is hungry. I use it every single day because we all need food. For example, I'm hungry, let's eat, or I'm really hungry after work. Practice with me now. I'm hungry in the morning. Another, I feel hungry before dinner. Simple, useful, and natural. Along with hungry comes thirsty, another word I use every day. For example, I'm thirsty. I need some water. Or I feel thirsty after running. Practice this. Say, I'm thirsty right now. Another, I'm thirsty in the afternoon. These words are easy, but they're exactly what you need for daily life. Another emotional word I use is worried. This is very common because in life we often think about problems. For example, I'm worried about my exam. Or, I'm worried because I'm late. Practice with me. I'm worried about my homework. Another, I feel worried when I forget words. This is realistic and very useful. Now, let's practice with relaxed. This is the opposite of worried. For example, I feel relaxed on the weekend. Or, I'm relaxed when I listen to music. Say with me, I feel relaxed after practicing English. Another, I'm relaxed in the evening. Notice how it feels calm and positive. Another word I use every day is busy. Life is busy, and this word comes naturally in daily conversation. For example, I'm busy with work. Or, I'm busy right now. Can we talk later? Practice now. I'm busy today. Another, I'm busy with my studies. You'll use this word many times every day. Another useful word is free. Not just about money, but about time. For example, I'm free this afternoon. Or, are you free tomorrow? This is so common in daily life when making plans. Practice with me. I'm free after lunch. Another, I'm free this weekend. Simple, natural, and important. Now, let's use the word good with feelings. For example, I feel good today. Or, that sounds good. This is an phrase, and I use it constantly. Practice together. I feel good about learning English. Another, that's good news. You'll hear and use this phrase daily. Another emotional word I love using is bad. Life isn't always perfect, and we need this word to express negative feelings. For example, I feel bad about being late. Or, that movie was bad. Practice now. I feel bad when I don't practice. Another, the weather is bad today. It's a simple but honest word. Now, let's combine words to make emotional phrases stronger. For example, really happy, very tired, a little bored, so excited. These combinations make your English more colorful. Practice with me. I'm really happy to be here. Another, I'm very tired after work. Again, I'm a little bored this afternoon, and I'm so excited for tomorrow. Using these combinations daily will make your English feel more expressive. Another useful phrase is not really. For example, if someone asks, "Are you hungry?" you can say, "Not really." Or, "Do you like this show?" and you reply, "Not really." It's polite and soft, and I use it all the time. Practice this. Do you want to study now? Not really. Another, are you bored? Not really. You'll see how common and useful this phrase is. Now, let's use the word okay. This is one of the most common words in English, and I use it every single day. For example, okay, let's start. Or, are you ready? Okay, it's short, flexible, and friendly. Practice with me. Okay, I'll do it. Another, okay, I understand. This word is everywhere in daily conversations. Finally, let's practice with fine. This is often used to answer, "How are you?" For example, "I'm fine, thank you." But also in other ways, "That's fine. It's fine with me." It's common, polite, and useful. Practice this now. I'm fine, thank you. Another, that's fine. And one more, it's fine, don't worry. You'll use this word many times a day. So in this part, we practiced many words for feelings and emotions: happy, excited, tired, bored, interested, hungry, thirsty, worried, relaxed, busy, free, good, bad, really happy, very tired, a little bored, so excited, not really, okay, and fine. These are the true building blocks of daily conversation, and using them every day will help you sound natural and fluent. Another group of words that I find myself using every single day are the ones that help me describe quantity and frequency. These words are simple, but they give more detail to my sentences and make my English sound more complete. One of the first words in this group is a lot. I use it all the time. For example, I drink a lot of water, or I watch a lot of movies. It's such a flexible phrase that can describe many things: time, energy, people, objects. Practice with me. I study English a lot. Another, I read a lot of books. Notice how natural it sounds, and how it makes your sentences longer and clearer. Another everyday word is many. This is very useful when talking about countable things. For example, I have many friends, or there are many cars on the street. It's simple but very common. Practice now. I know many English words. Another, I have many questions. This word will appear again and again in your daily life. Next is much. I use it every day when I talk about uncountable things. For example, I don't have much time, or I don't drink much coffee. It's very important to use correctly. Practice with me. I don't have much homework today. Another, I don't need much help. Another daily phrase is a few. This means a small number. For example, I have a few friends in this city, or I bought a few apples. I use this all the time when I don't want to say many, but also not zero. Practice together. I have a few minutes. Another, I made a few mistakes. You can see how soft and natural it feels. Along with a few, I also use a little. This is very common with uncountable nouns. For example, I need a little help, or I have a little money. It makes your sentences polite and natural. Practice now. I need a little water. Another, I have a little time to study. It's short and very useful in daily life. Another quantity word I use is enough. This is so important because in life we often talk about having the right amount. For example, I have enough money, or I didn't get enough sleep. I use it constantly. Practice with me. I have enough time. Another, I don't eat enough fruit. Notice how this word helps you be clear and realistic. Another word I use often is too much or too many. For example, there are too many people here, or I ate too much food. It shows that the amount is more than needed, and I use it often in conversations about daily life. Practice now. I spend too much time on my phone. Another, I bought too many clothes. This is exactly how you'll hear people talk in real life. Now, let's practice with some. This is such a common word that I use every day without thinking. For example, I need some water. Or, I have some questions. It's polite and flexible. Repeat after me. I want some coffee. Another, I need some help. This is one of the most natural words in English conversations. The opposite of some is any. And I use this word daily, especially in questions and negatives. For example, do you have any money? I don't have any friends here. Are there any apples? Practice this with me. Do you have any time? Another, I don't need any help. You will use this word constantly in your daily speaking. Now let's move to frequency words. The first one is always. We practiced it earlier, but it's worth repeating because I use it every day. I always check my phone in the morning. I always brush my teeth. These are common habits. Practice now. I always practice English. Another, I always drink water after running. The opposite is never. And again, I use it daily. I never smoke. I never drink coffee at night. It's powerful and simple. Say with me, I never forget to practice. Another, I never skip breakfast. Another frequency word I use is sometimes. We practiced it before, but I repeat it every day in different ways. Sometimes I feel tired. Sometimes I go to the park. Practice this with me. Say, sometimes I read books at night. Another example, sometimes I listen to English music. Another very common word is often. For example, I often go shopping, or I often talk to my friends. It's softer than always, but more than sometimes. Practice with me. Say, I often study English after dinner. Another, I often walk in the park. The opposite is rarely. I use this when something almost never happens. For example, I rarely eat fast food, or I rarely watch TV. Practice together. Say, I rarely go out late. Another, I rarely forget my homework. And one more is usually. We saw this before, but I cannot stop using it every single day. For example, I usually wake up early. Or, I usually drink coffee. Say with me, I usually practice English in the evening. Another, I usually call my family on weekends. Finally, let's combine these words into longer practice sentences. I usually study in the morning, but sometimes I study at noon. I drink a lot of water, but I rarely drink soda. I have a few friends, and I talk to them often. Repeat after me slowly. I don't have much time, but I have enough energy. Another, I bought too many clothes, and I spent too much money. Combining these words gives your English a natural flow. So, in this section, we practiced many words about quantity and frequency. A lot, many, much, a few, a little, enough, too much, too many, some, any, always, never, sometimes, often, rarely, and usually. These are simple but powerful words that I use every day, and you can, too. Now, let's focus on another set of words that I use every single day. These are words that help me connect my thoughts, give explanations, and make my English flow naturally. One word I cannot live without is because. We touched on it earlier, but it deserves more practice. It is such a powerful connector, and I use it constantly. For example, I'm studying English because I want to travel. Or, I'm learning new words because they help me sound natural. Let's practice together. Say, I'm practicing English because I want to speak fluently. Another, I'm listening carefully because I want to understand. This word makes your sentences longer and fuller. Another common connector I use is so. This word shows result. For example, I was tired, so I went to bed early. Or, it was raining, so I stayed at home. I use it every day because it connects, causes, and affects so smoothly. Practice with me. Say, I was hungry, so I made a sandwich. Another, I want to improve, so I practice every day. You'll notice how natural it feels when you put it into your daily speech. Another word I use daily is but. This is such a simple word, but it makes my sentences real because life is full of contrasts. For example, I wanted to go out, but it was raining. Or, I'm tired, but I still need to finish my work. Practice now. Say, I studied hard, but I still made mistakes. Another, I was nervous, but I spoke anyway. The word but keeps your sentences natural and realistic. Another word I often use is and. We might think it's too basic, but I use it all the time to connect ideas. For example, I bought apples and oranges. Or, I studied grammar and practiced speaking. It's short, simple, but very powerful. Practice together. Say, I read and listened at the same time. Another, I studied and improved. Quickly, you'll see that even the most basic words are important when used daily. Now, let's practice with if. This is one of my favorite daily words because it allows me to talk about possibilities. For example, if it rains, I'll stay home. Or, if I practice, I will improve. I use this word constantly. Say with me, if I study every day, I'll get better. Another, if I forget, please remind me. The word if helps you imagine and plan. Another word I use daily is when. This word helps me talk about time and conditions. For example, I smile when I'm happy. Or, I study when I have free time. Practice with me. Say, I drink tea when I'm tired. Another, I feel relaxed when I listen to music. This word makes your sentences smoother and more complete. Another phrase I use constantly is even though. For example, even though I was tired, I finished my homework. Or, even though it was raining. So, in this section, we practiced many words about quantity and frequency. A lot, many, much, a few, a little, enough, too much, too many, some, any, always, never, sometimes, often, rarely, and usually. These are simple but powerful words that I use every day, and you can, too. Now, let's focus on another set of words that I use every single day. These are words that help me connect my thoughts, give explanations, and make my English flow naturally. One word I cannot live without is because. We touched on it earlier, but it deserves more practice. It is such a powerful connector, and I use it constantly. For example, I'm studying English because I want to travel. Or, I'm learning new words because they help me sound natural. Let's practice together. Say, I'm practicing English because I want to speak fluently. Another, I'm listening carefully because I want to understand. This word makes your sentences longer and fuller. Another common connector I use is so. This word shows result. For example, I was tired, so I went to bed early. Or, it was raining, so I stayed at home. I use it every day because it connects, causes, and affects so smoothly. Practice with me. Say, I was hungry, so I made a sandwich. Another, I want to improve, so I practice every day. You'll notice how natural it feels when you put it into your daily speech. Another word I use daily is but. This is such a simple word, but it makes my sentences real because life is full of contrasts. For example, I wanted to go out, but it was raining. Or, I'm tired, but I still need to finish my work. Practice now. Say, I studied hard, but I still made mistakes. Another, I was nervous, but I spoke anyway. The word but keeps your sentences natural and realistic. Another word I often use is and. We might think it's too basic, but I use it all the time to connect ideas. For example, I bought apples and oranges. Or, I studied grammar and practiced speaking. It's short, simple, but very powerful. Practice together. Say, I read and listened at the same time. Another, I studied and improved. Quickly, you'll see that even the most basic words are important when used daily. Now, let's practice with if. This is one of my favorite daily words because it allows me to talk about possibilities. For example, if it rains, I'll stay home. Or, if I practice, I will improve. I use this word constantly. Say with me, if I study every day, I'll get better. Another, if I forget, please remind me. The word if helps you imagine and plan. Another word I use daily is when. This word helps me talk about time and conditions. For example, I smile when I'm happy. Or, I study when I have free time. Practice with me. Say, I drink tea when I'm tired. Another, I feel relaxed when I listen to music. This word makes your sentences smoother and more complete. Another phrase I use constantly is even though. For example, even though I was tired, I finished my homework. Or, even though it was raining, even though I went outside. This shows contrast and determination. Practice now. Say, even though I was nervous, I spoke English. Another, even though I didn't know all the words, I tried. You can see how this phrase makes your English sound deeper and more real. Another daily use connector is so that. For example, I study every day so that I can improve. Or, I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget. It gives purpose to your sentence. Practice with me. Say, I speak slowly so that others can understand. Another, I listen carefully so that I don't miss anything. Now, let's practice with although. This is very similar to even though. For example, although it was late, I kept studying. Or, although I was busy, I made time to read. Say with me, although I was tired, I smiled. Another, although I didn't know everything, I tried. It's a word I use daily because life often has two sides. Another useful connector is while I use this every day when I describe actions happening at the same time. For example, I listened to music while cooking. Or, I studied while drinking coffee. Practice together. Say, I walked while talking on the phone. Another, I smiled while thinking of my friends. This word makes your English more natural and flowing. Another phrase I use constantly is as soon as. For example, I'll call you as soon as I arrive, or I'll study as soon as I finish. It shows quick action and is very common in daily speech. Practice now. Say, I'll start as soon as I wake up. Another, I'll reply as soon as I can. This phrase is part of my everyday speaking. Now, let's look at in case. This phrase is very useful in daily life when talking about preparation. For example, take an umbrella in case it rains. Or, write it down in case you forget. Practice this with me. Say, bring water in case you feel thirsty. Another, take notes in case the teacher speaks fast. It's polite, useful, and natural. Another phrase I use often is as if. For example, he looked at me as if I was crazy. Or, she spoke as if she knew everything. It's a fun way to describe situations. Practice with me. Say, he smiled as if he won the game. Another, she walked as if she was tired. You'll notice how expressive this phrase is. Finally, let's practice so far. This is a phrase I use every day when talking about progress. For example, so far, I've learned 10 new words. Or, so far, everything is good. It's very natural. Say with me, so far, I've studied every day. Another, so far, this lesson is helpful. It's a small phrase, but very powerful in daily life. So, in this section, we practiced connectors and sentence building words. Because, so, but, and, if, when, even though, so that, although, while, as soon as, in case, as if, and so far. These are the true glue of English, the words that hold conversations together and make them flow. Now, let's look at another group of words that I use every day. Words for giving opinions, making conversation natural, and showing agreement or disagreement. These are the words that help us sound confident when speaking with others. One word I use daily is, I think. It's simple but so useful. For example, I think this lesson is helpful. Or, I think the movie was great. I think learning English every day is important. It shows your personal view in a polite way. Practice with me. Say, I think I'm improving. Another, I think this exercise is useful. You'll use this phrase in almost every conversation. Another very common phrase is I don't think so. This is a soft way to disagree. For example, if someone says, it will rain today, you can reply, I don't think so. Or, if someone asks, do you like this book? You can answer, I don't think so. Practice now. Say, I don't think so. Maybe tomorrow. Another, I don't think so, but let's see. This phrase makes you sound polite when disagreeing. Another phrase I use all the time is, I guess. This shows that you're not completely sure, but you have an idea. For example, I guess he is late. Or, I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Practice with me. Say, I guess I need more. Practice. Another, I guess it's going to rain. It's softer than saying yes or no, and it's very natural now. Let's practice with probably. This is another way to talk about possibility. For example, I'll probably go shopping later. Or, he'll probably call tonight. Say with me, I'll probably study after dinner. Another, we'll probably meet tomorrow. I use this word every single day. Another phrase I use daily is, I'm not sure. This is very polite and honest when you don't know the answer. For example, I'm not sure where she went. Or, I'm not sure what time the meeting starts. Practice now. Say, I'm not sure about the answer. Another, I'm not sure if he's coming. You'll find this phrase extremely useful. Another common one is maybe. We practiced it earlier, but it deserves more examples. For example, maybe I'll call you later. Or, maybe we can meet tomorrow. Say with me, maybe I'll watch a movie tonight. Another, maybe I'll learn 5 new words. Simple, flexible, and very natural. Now, let's look at sure again, but this time in opinion form. For example, I'm sure you'll do well. Or, I'm sure this is the right answer. It shows confidence. Practice with me. Say, I'm sure I can improve. Another, I'm sure this exercise is helping. Using sure makes your English sound strong and confident. Another phrase I use often is, of course. For example, if someone asks, do you like music? You can say, of course. Or, can you help me? And you reply, of course. Say this with me. Of course, I enjoy learning English. Another, of course, I can help you. It's short, polite, and friendly. Now, let's practice with exactly. This is a great way to agree strongly with someone. For example, if a friend says, practice makes perfect, you can reply, exactly. Or, if someone says, English is important, you can respond, exactly. Practice now. Say, exactly. I need more practice. Another, exactly. Listening helps a lot. This single word makes you sound natural and confident. Another useful phrase I use daily is, that's right. This is another way to show agreement. For example, if someone says, the test is tomorrow, you can say, that's right. Practice together. Say, that's right. I need to study. Another, that's right. Practice helps. This is a polite and natural way to agree. Now let's look at really in another form, to show interest in someone's opinion. For example, if a person says, I love pizza, you can reply, really? I like it too. Or, if someone says, I don't like coffee, you can respond, really? I drink it every day. Practice with me. Say, really? That's interesting. Another, really? I didn't know that. This shows curiosity and makes conversations flow. Another everyday phrase I use is you're right. For example, you're right. I need to practice more. Or, you're right. It's important to listen carefully. Say with me, you're right. This is useful. Another, you're right. I should try again. It's polite and positive, asterisk, now. Let's practice with, I agree. This phrase is simple but powerful. For example, I agree with you about learning daily, or, I agree this is helpful. Say with me, I agree, practice is important. Another example, I agree with your idea. You'll find this phrase in almost every conversation. Sometimes, I need to disagree. Politely. In that case, I use I don't agree or I disagree. For example, I don't agree with that plan. Or, I disagree because I think there's another way. Practice with me. I don't agree. Maybe we should try later. Another, I disagree. I think this is better. It's very important to know how to disagree politely. Another very soft and common phrase I use every day is I don't know. For example, I don't know the answer, or I don't know what time it is. Practice now. I don't know how to say it. Another, I don't know if I can go. This phrase is honest, useful, and completely natural. And finally, let's practice with let me think. I use this all the time when I need a moment before answering. For example, what's your favorite movie? Let me think. Or, when is your birthday? Let me think. In July, practice now. Let me think. Maybe tomorrow. Another, let me think. I'm not sure. This phrase buys you time and makes you sound more natural. So, in this section, We practiced everyday opinion and agreement phrases. I think, I don't think so, I guess, probably, I'm not sure, maybe, sure, of course, exactly, that's right. Really, you're right, I agree, I don't agree, I disagree, I don't know, and let me think. These expressions make conversations feel alive, natural, and full of connection. Now, let's move on to another group of words I use every single day, words that help me describe places, directions, and positions. In daily life, we always need to explain where things are, where we're going, and how to find something. One of the first words I use is here. It's very basic, but I say it many times a day. For example, I'm here. Come here. Here is your book. Practice with me. I'm here to learn English. Another, here is my phone. You'll notice how often this word appears in daily speech. Another very important word is there. This is the opposite of here, and I use it all the time. For example, the keys are there. Or, I'll meet you there. Practice now. The store is there. Another, I'll be there at 5 o'clock. This word is essential in daily conversations. Now, let's practice with over there. This makes your pointing or explanation clearer. For example, the restaurant is over there. Or, the bag is over there on the chair. Say with me, my shoes are over there. Another, the park is over there near the school. This sounds very natural. Another word I use every day is everywhere. It's useful when something is all around. For example, I looked everywhere for my phone. Or, there are flowers everywhere. Practice now. English is everywhere. Another, I see people everywhere in the city. This word is expressive and powerful. Asterisk, let's try somewhere. I use it when I don't know the exact place. For example, I left my bag somewhere. Or, he lives somewhere near here. Practice now. I put my notebook somewhere in the room. Another, I want to go somewhere nice. This sounds exactly like natural daily conversation. Another useful word is anywhere. For example, I can't find my pen anywhere. Or, I don't want to go anywhere today. Say with me, I can't see it anywhere. Another, you can sit anywhere. Very simple, very natural. Now, let's practice up and down. I use these little words constantly. For example, I walked up the stairs. Or, she ran down the hill. Say with me, I looked up at the sky. Another, I walked down the street. These words bring movement into your sentences. Another pair I use all the time is in and out. For example, I'm in the room. Or, I'm going out. Practice with me, I'm in the house. Another, I'm going out with friends. These are part of everyday English. Now, let's try inside and outside. For example, it's warm inside. Or, it's cold outside. Practice now. I'm inside the classroom. Another, I'm waiting outside the store. Very common, very natural. Another word is near. For example, the bank is near my house. Or, the park is near the school. Say with me, the shop is near the station. Another, my friend lives near me. This is exactly how we talk every day. The opposite is far. For example, the airport is far from here. Or, the walk is too far. Say, my school is far away. Another, the store is not far from here. Very useful in conversation. Now let's use next to. For example, the library is next to the park. Or, my phone is next to my computer. Practice now. The school is next to the hospital. Another, my bag is next to the chair. This phrase makes your English very clear. Another common phrase is in front of. For example, the car is in front of the house. Or, she is standing in front of me. Practice with me. The store is in front of the bank. Another, I was sitting in front of the TV. Very common in daily life. Now let's practice behind. For example, the garden is behind the house. Or, he is standing behind me. Say, the bus stop is behind the school. Another, the cat is behind the chair. Very natural. Another useful word is between. For example, the park is between the school and the library. Or, I'm sitting between my friends. Practice now. The bank is between the store and the cafe. Another, the ball is between the shoes. This is how people describe things every day. Now let's practice on and under. For example, the book is on the table. Or, the shoes are under the bed. Practice now. The keys are on the chair. Another, the cat is under the table. You'll use these hundreds of times. Finally, let's practice at this little word is short but so powerful. For example, I'm at school, or I'm at the bus stop. It's small, but it's used in so many daily conversations. Say now, I'm at home. Another, I'm at work. You will notice this word appears everywhere in English. In this section, we practiced many place and direction words. Here, there, over there, everywhere, somewhere, anywhere, up, down, in, out, inside, outside, near, far, next to, in front of, behind, between, on, under, and at. These are simple but essential words that I use every single day to talk about location and movement. Now, let's focus on another group of words that I use every single day, words that help me describe actions and daily routines. These are the kinds of words that come naturally when you talk about your life, your habits, and your simple activities. One of the most common words I use is go. It's short, simple, but I say it every day. For example, I go to work, I go to school, I go shopping. It appears in almost every story about daily life. Practice, I go to the park in the morning. Another, I go to bed at night. Another, every day. Word is come. I use this when talking about movement toward me or toward a place. For example, come here. My friend comes to visit. I come home at 6. Practice, I come to class every day. Another, please come with me. Another daily action word is make. For example, I make breakfast. I make mistakes. I make plans for the weekend. Practice, I make coffee every morning. Another, I make time to study English. Along with make, I also use do. For example, I do my homework. I do the dishes. I do exercises. Practice, I do my work every day. Another, I do my best when I learn. Another important word is get. For example, I get up early. I get ready for school. I get a message from my friend. Practice, I get dressed in the morning. Another, I get tired at night. Let's practice with take. For example, I take a shower. I take a bus to work. I take notes in class. Practice, I take my phone with me. Another, I take a break when I'm tired. Another daily verb is have. For example, I have breakfast. I have 2 brothers. I have a meeting. Practice, I have a friend in London. Another, I have a lot of work today. Now, let's use eat. For example, I eat breakfast. I eat dinner with my family. Practice, I eat rice every day. Another, I eat fruit in the morning. Along with eat, I use drink. For example, I drink water. I drink coffee. I drink tea in the evening. Practice, I drink juice in the morning. Another, I drink coffee every day. Another word I use constantly is sleep. For example, I sleep at night. I sleep for 8 hours. Practice. I sleep early on weekdays. Another, I sleep late on weekends. Now let's practice wake up. For example, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I wake up late on Sunday. Practice. I wake up early every day. Another, I wake up when the sun rises. Another word I use. Every day is work. For example, I work from Monday to Friday. I work hard to improve my skills. Practice. I work on my English every day. Another, I work at a company now. Let's use study. For example, I study English. I study history. I study in the library. Practice. I study every night. Another, I study with my friends. Another important daily word is learn. For example, I learn new words. I learn from my mistakes. Practice. I learn something new every day. Another, I learn by listening carefully. Now let's try watch. For example, I watch TV. I watch a movie. I watch the news. Practice. I watch English videos. Another, I watch birds in the park. Along with watch, I also use listen. For example, I listen to music. I listen to my teacher. I listen to podcasts. Practice. I listen to English every day. Another, I listen to my friends carefully. Another verb I use daily is talk. For example, I talk to my friend. I talk on the phone. Practice. I talk in English with my classmates. Another, I talk to my parents in the evening. Now, let's practice speak. For example, I speak English. I speak with my teacher. I speak in class. Practice. I speak slowly when I learn. Another, I speak with confidence. Another very common word is say. For example, I say hello. I say thank you. I say good night. Practice. I say good morning to my family. Another, I say thank you to my teacher. And let's not forget ask. For example, I ask a question. I ask for help. I ask the time. Practice. I ask questions in English. Another, I ask my friend about homework. So in this section, we practiced action and routine words: go, come, make, do, get, take, have, eat, drink, sleep, wake up, work, study, learn, watch, listen, talk, speak, say, and ask. These are everyday words that you'll use hundreds of times to describe your life and your activities. Asterisk, yesterday was a long day. I studied English yesterday. Say with me, I called my friend yesterday. Another, yesterday I felt tired. This word is very common when talking about the past. The opposite is tomorrow. I use it every day when I make plans. For example, I'll meet you tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day. I'll start tomorrow. Practice. I will practice more tomorrow. Another, tomorrow I will wake up early. This word keeps conversations moving toward the future. Now, let's practice with morning. For example, I wake up in the morning. I drink coffee every morning. Morning is quiet. Practice. I study English in the morning. Another, I go jogging in the morning. Morning is one of the most common times we describe. Along with morning, I use afternoon. For example, I take a walk in the afternoon. The meeting is in the afternoon. Practice. I usually rest in the afternoon. Another, I study in the afternoon sometimes. Next is evening. For example, I read books in the evening. We have dinner in the evening. Practice. I practice English in the evening. Another, I watch TV in the evening. Evening is always part of our daily schedule. Another very common word is night. For example, good night. I sleep at night. The city looks beautiful at night. Practice. I study at night sometimes. Another, I relax at night. Now let's practice always again, but this time in daily routines. For example, I always brush my teeth at night. I always check my phone in the morning. Practice, I always wake up early. Another, I always study English at night. Another important word is never. For example, I never skip breakfast. I never sleep late on weekdays. Practice, I never forget to practice. Another, I never feel bored when I learn. Now let's add early. For example, I wake up early. I arrive early to class. The bus came early. Practice, I started early today. Another, I like waking up early. The opposite is late. For example, I was late to work. She arrived late. Don't be late. Practice, I went to bed late. Another, I was late for class. Another daily phrase I use is on time. For example, I arrived on time. The meeting started on time. Practice, I try to be on time. Another, he was on time today. Now let's use soon. For example, see you soon. Dinner will be ready soon. I'll call you soon. Practice, I'll start soon. Another, we will meet soon. Another very common one is later. For example, I'll call you later. We'll talk later. I'll finish my work later. Practice, I'll do it later. Another, we'll see later. Now let's practice now. For example, I'm busy now. Do it now. I'm studying now. Practice, I'm learning English now. Another, I can talk now. Another important phrase is right now. For example, I'm working right now. I can't talk right now. Practice, I'm listening right now. Another, I'm practicing right now. Another time word I use every day is soon after. For example, soon after lunch, I went to the park. I started working soon after arriving. Practice, I'll start soon after I finish this. Another, he left soon after the meeting. Now, let's use once. For example, I went there once. Once I finish, I'll call you. Practice, I watched this movie once. Another, once I start, I don't stop. Another common phrase is again. For example, I'll try again. Please, say it again. Practice, I'll practice. Again tomorrow. Another, can you explain again? Asterisk, now let's practice often. For example, I often read books. I often go for a walk. We often talk about English. Practice, I often listen to English podcasts. Another, I often meet my friends in the evening. Finally, let's look at sometimes. For example, sometimes I feel tired. Sometimes I take a nap. Sometimes I go shopping. Practice, sometimes I practice in the morning. Another, sometimes I listen to music at night. So in this section, we practiced time-related words. Today, yesterday, tomorrow, morning, afternoon, evening, night, always, never, early, late, on time, soon, later, now, right now, soon, after, once, again, often, and sometimes. These are words I use every single day to describe my routines, habits, and plans. We've now gone through so many words, together words, for feelings, for time, for actions, for places, for describing things, for giving opinions, for making sentences flow. All of these are words that I personally use every single day. And I hope you can see why they are so powerful. The secret to boosting your vocabulary is not to only chase after difficult or rare words. The real growth comes from using simple, natural, everyday words again and again until they feel automatic in your mouth and in your mind. Think about it this way. A tall building is built on strong bricks at the bottom. Those bricks are not fancy, but without them, the building could not stand. Your vocabulary is the same. These small daily use words are your bricks. The more you repeat them, the stronger your English becomes. Asterisk, now I want you to imagine yourself in a simple, daily situation. Maybe at a cafe talking with a friend, or maybe at work speaking with a colleague. When you open your mouth, these words we practice today will come to you naturally. You won't even think about them. You'll just say, "Actually, I think it's a great idea," or "I'll probably do it tomorrow," or "I'm really happy to be here." That is the true power of daily vocabulary. Asterisk, let's finish with a little practice together. Say with me slowly, "I'm learning new words every day, and I'm getting better." Again, "I'm building my vocabulary, and I feel more confident." One more time, "I use these words every day, and they help me sound natural." I'm so proud of you for staying with me through this whole lesson. Step by step, word by word, you are making your English stronger. And the best part is, the more you practice, the easier it gets. So keep going, keep practicing, and keep using these words in your daily conversations. Remember, English is not something you learn only once. It's something you live, you feel, and you practice every day. Thank you for learning with me today. I'm Nat Asha, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Until then, keep smiling, keep practicing, and keep growing your English. And if you enjoyed this session, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can keep learning with me every day.